Good morning, students. Today we are going to start a new topic in the subject of Mathematics D2 in O levels, and that is graphs of the linear equations in two unknowns. So this is very important topic as far as your papers are concerned. The questions from this topic come normally in paper number 1 as well as in paper number 2. So this chapter will help you a lot in solving the further chapters on the graph. So concentrate yourself now. The first thing that we are going to read in the topic is the choice of appropriate scales for the graphs. So concentrate yourself. This is the basic thing for drawing the graphs. So look now, before we proceed to draw a graph, we have to choose a suitable scale. The following guidelines are useful. Number 1 point, use a convenient scale for both x-axis and y-axis. For example, 1 centimeter to represent 1 unit. So the another thing for you people is 1 unit is actually a one big box on the graph paper. So for example, 1 centimeter to represent 1 unit, 2 unit, 4 units, 5 units or 10 units. So it will depend on the situation, on the question, what kind of the question we are going to handle. So we will choose the scale according to the convenience. Avoid using awkward scales like 1 centimeter to represent 2.3 units or 1 centimeter to represent 7 units. So these are awkward units. So try to choose a suitable scale like 1 unit to represent 1 centimeter to represent 1 unit, 2 unit, 4 units, 5 units, 10 units, and up to so on. Okay, the next point that is very important for you people is the scale used for the x-axis need not to be the same as that used for the y-axis. So this is very important point. You may choose a same scale for the both axes, that is y-axis and x-axis, and you may choose the different scales as well. So you can use, for example, 1 centimeter to represent 2 units on the x-axis and 1 centimeter to represent 5 units on the y-axis. So you may choose the same scale or different scales for the both axes. It will depend on the situation. The next thing that you have to understand is choose a suitably large scale so that the graph will be more than half the size of the given graph paper. So this is very important point. Do not draw a graph paper of very small size. So try to draw the graph as maximum as possible according to the size of your graph paper. The bigger the graph, the more accurate the results obtained from it will be. Look at the largest and the smallest values of x and do a rough calculation to decide the scale that would give you the largest possible graph. Do the same for the y-axis. So first you have to check the minimum and the maximum values of x and the minimum and maximum values of y, and then choose a maximum possible scale. So the bigger the graph, the more accurate will be the results obtained from it. So here is a question that will make your concepts more clear. Using a suitable scale, draw the graph of y is equal to 3x minus 1. Compare your graphs with your classmates. Do they look different? Why? Okay, from the graph, find the values of y when x is equal to minus 0.8 and 1.3. B part the values of x when y is equal to minus 2.8, 0 and 0.8. So look now, first you have to make a table of the values. For example, x is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, and accordingly the respective values of y will be. So putting these values of x one by one into this equation. So look now, when x will be put into the equation, y will be -1. When 1 will be put into the equation, so 3 ones are 3, -1 will be 2. When 2 will be put, so 3 twos are 6, -1 will be 5. And when 3 will be put, so 3 threes are 9, -1 will be 8. So these are the set of the values which need to be plotted on the graph paper, and then we will use a scale to join all these points that will make a straight line. So look now. So look now, the scale which we have choose for the x-axis is 2 centimeter to 1 unit. So actually we are taking two big boxes for 1 unit. So after 2 big box, 2 will be there. After 3 further 2 box, 3 will be there, and up to so on. And for y-axis is 1 centimeter to 1 unit. So for y-axis, 1 big unit will be 1 unit. So further 1 big unit will be 2, further 1 big unit will be 3, and likewise on the negative y-axis as well. So same scale of the x-axis on the positive side and on the negative side. So scale chosen is this one. For the x-axis 2 centimeter to 1 unit, and y-axis for y-axis 1 centimeter to 1 unit. Now the values from the table which we have made will be plotted. So likewise 3 values are plotted, and with the help of scale these 3 values will be joined to make a straight line. So this is the graph of y is equal to 3x minus 1. So look now you have to write this one, y is equal to 3x minus 1. This is the important thing. Here x should be written, here y should be written. Okay. So further, here y should be written, here x should be written, and the line is actually a graph of y is equal to 3x minus 1. So this thing should be written on the graph. Okay, now further the thing that is required is the value of y when x is equal to minus 0.8. So now you will be required to check where minus 0.8 is. So look now, if 2 big boxes are represented by 1 unit, so it means in 1 big box there are actually 5 small boxes. So 0.8 will be on the 8th small box. Okay, from here you will use the scale and draw a vertical line that will join your graph line, and from here you will draw the horizontal line to join the y-axis, and this is the value of y when x is minus 0.8. The next thing that is required is the value of y when x is 1.3. So again you will check where 1.3 on the x-axis. So this is the point here at which x is 1.3. From here now again with the help of scale you will join a vertical line that will join the graph, and from there you will draw a horizontal line to join the y-axis. So this is the value 2.9 when x is 1.3. Okay, furthermore the value of x is required when y is minus 2.8. So look now you will check the value of y minus 2.8. From here you, with the help of scale you will join a horizontal line that will join your graph, and from here you will draw a vertical line to join the x-axis. So this is minus 0.6 when y is minus 2.8. Next value that is required is value of x when y is 0. So origin is the point where x and y both are 0. So it is given that find the value of x when y is equal to 0. So here is the point y is equal to 0. So from here you can see this is the point when y is equal to 0 that join the graph paper. So when y is equal to 0, the value of x, sorry, this is the value of x. So 0.3 is the value of x when y is equal to 0. The last thing that is required is find the value of x when y is equal to 0.8. Now you will first check where y is 0.8. From there you will draw a horizontal line that will join the graph, and from there you will draw the vertical line to join the x-axis. So this is the value of x when y is equal to 0.8. So this was the method, students, that will be adopted for solving these kind of questions. The next thing that we are going to do in the topic is graphs of the equation of the form y is equal to c. So these kind of the equations are much easier. So y is equal to c stands for c will be any value. So y is equal to 1 or y is equal to 2 or y is equal to 3. So look here, these kind of the graphs will be required to draw. For example, y is equal to 2, y is equal to 5, y is equal to -1, y is equal to -4. So look here. Here are the graphs of these kinds of the equation. So y is equal to 5 or y is equal to c form will be a graph that will be parallel to the x-axis. So look, now here is the x-axis and here is the y-axis. So whenever you are required to draw the graphs of y is equal to c form, these will be parallel to x-axis. So for example, y is equal to 5 graph is required. So you will plot the point 0.5 on the y-axis, because on the y-axis x value is 0 and here is the 5. So you will draw a parallel line, that is parallel to the x-axis. So with the help of scale you will draw a parallel line on the graph paper passing through the 0.5 point. Likewise, y is equal to 2 line will pass through the 0.2 point and parallel to x-axis. So you will draw a horizontal line that is parallel to x-axis. Likewise, y is equal to -1 will pass through 0-1 point parallel to x-axis, and the line and the graph of y is equal to -4 will be a line parallel to x-axis, that is a horizontal line passing through 0-4 point. So the next thing that is very important for you people to understand as far as your papers are concerned, in general, the graph of the equation y is equal to c is a line passing through the point 0c. So whatever the point that is equal to c will be here, so 0c, and parallel to the x-axis. The gradient, this is very important point, the gradient of the line of the form y is equal to c is 0. This point normally comes in the paper. So you are required to find the gradient of the line parallel to x-axis. So understand and remember, the gradient of the line of the form y is equal to c that is parallel to x-axis is always 0. The next thing that we are going to read is the graphs of the equation of the form x is equal to c. So previously you have understand the graphs of the form y is equal to c. So those graphs were parallel to x-axis, and the graphs of the form x is equal to a will be parallel to y-axis. For example, you are required to draw the graphs of x is equal to 2, x is equal to 5, x is equal to -1, and x is equal to -4. So look here now. Here are the graphs of these form. So first you will plot the x-axis and y-axis on your graph paper. So look now. Now the graph of x is equal to -4. So you will check where -4 is on the x-axis. You will plot that point and will draw a vertical line with the help of scale that is parallel to y-axis. Here is the y-axis. Likewise, the graph of x is equal to -1 will pass through the point -1, 0. First you will plot this point on the sheet of the graph paper, and with the help of scale you will draw a vertical line with the help of scale parallel to y-axis. Likewise, x is equal to 2 will pass through the 2, 0 point. With the help of scale, you will draw a vertical line that is parallel to y-axis. Likewise, you will draw the graph of x is equal to 5 that will pass through the point 50. So you will draw a vertical line that will pass through 50 point, and that is parallel to the y-axis. So these are the graphs of x is equal to a form. The next thing that is very important as far as your papers are concerned, so concentrate yourself in general. The graph of the equation x is equal to a is a line passing through the point a0 and parallel to y-axis. So the graph of the form x is equal to a will be parallel to y-axis, and the graph of the form y is equal to c will be parallel to x-axis. So these points are very important. You should remember them. Next thing that is very important is that normally come in the paper, the gradient of the line of the form x is equal to a. So whenever the graph is parallel to y-axis, the gradient will be undefined, and whenever the graph is parallel to x-axis, the gradient will be 0. So remember it. This is very important point. The question of this concept normally come in the paper. So concentrate yourself. We are going to do a question of paper 1 type. So like this type of question normally come in the paper. Write down the equation of the each horizontal line in the figure, including the x-axis. So here are a lot of lines including the x-axis, so you are required to write down the equation of each horizontal line. So first you have to look, one big unit in the graph paper are actually represented by 5 small boxes. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 and up to so on. So it means in one big box on the graph paper there are 5 small boxes. So the first line that is actually passing through 1, 2 and 3. So third small box, so parallel to x-axis, so it means the line will be y is equal to 3. So this is the equation of the first line, y is equal to 3. Likewise, this line is passing through 11, so y is equal to 11 is the equation of the line. This line is passing through 15, so y is equal to 15 is the equation, including x-axis. So x-axis is actually y is equal to 0, because at this point y is equal to 0, so this line is passing through y is equal to 0. Likewise, this point line is passing through 1, 2, 3, so y is equal to minus 3. This line is passing through minus 10, so y is equal to minus 10, and this line is passing through minus 16, so y is equal to minus 16 is the equation of this graph. Likewise, in this question, the statement is write down the equation of each vertical line in the figure, including the y-axis. So look now. Again, we have to check one big box. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Actually, there are 5 small boxes in the one big box on the graph paper. So now we are able to plot write down the equation of the graphs. So this first line on which I'm moving my pencil, this is passing through 4, so it means x is equal to 4 is the equation of this line. Y-axis is passing through x is equal to 0, because at this point x and y both are 0, so y-axis equation is x is equal to 0. This line is passing through 11, so x is equal to 11 is the equation of this line. This line is passing through 14, so x is equal to 14 is the equation of this line. And this line is passing through, so 15, 16, 17 and 18. So this equation is x is equal to 18. Likewise, on the left side of the y-axis, this line is passing through 1 2 3, so negative minus 3, so x is equal to minus 3 is the equation of this graph. When we are going to write down the equation of this equation, this line is passing through 5 6 7, so x is equal to minus 7. This line is passing through 10 11 12 13, so x is equal to minus 13. This line is passing through 15 16 17 18, so x is equal to minus 18. So because this is minus 18 point, so these are the equations of the vertical lines. The next thing that we are going to read is the graphs of the equation of the form. So this is the form. So you have to follow the rule. This should be the form, neither should be added nor should be subtracted. So the equation should be of this form, y is equal to mx. So understand it. So for example, here are some equations of this form: y is equal to x, y is equal to 2x. So you can see m is 1 here, m is 2 here, y is equal to 3x stands for, so 3 is equal to m. So all these equations are of this form. So the graphs of this form will always pass through the origin. So this is very important point. So I'm going to show you these graphs. The next important thing to learn is, so look now, here you can see these are all y is equal to mx type of the graphs. But the thing to be noticed is you can see m is positive in all these graphs. So 1 by 4, 1 by 2, 3 by 4, 1, 3 by 2, 2 and 3. You can see m is positive in all these graphs. So if m is positive and the equation of this form y is equal to mx, the graph will rise from left to right. So the point to remember, the graph will rise from left to right, and because this is a graph of this form, so graph will pass through the origin. So another point to be noticed is more the value of m. So look now, the value is 1 by 4. 1 by 2 is more than 1 by 2, 1 by 4. So its steepness is more. So if we increase m more, so for example 3 by 4 is more than 1 by 2, so its steepness will even increase, and you going on increasing the value of m, the steepness will be more and more. So look now, 3, m is 3, that is more than all the other values of the m in all these equations. So that's why it is having the maximum steepness. So this is very important point to remember. The next important point to be noticed is if y is equal to mx form, so graph will pass through the origin. This is confirmed. But you can notice now m is negative. So negative 3, negative 2, negative 3 by 2 and up to so on. So the graph will rise from right to left. So if m is positive, the graph will rise from left to right. But if m is negative, then graph will rise from right to left. So this is the point to remember. The next thing is, in spite of minus value, so more the value of the m, so more the steepness of the graph will be. So look now, minus 3 is having more steepness, minus 2 is having less steepness and up to so on. So keep minus sign aside. So more the value of m, 1 by 4, 1 by 2. So 1 by 2 is having more value than 1 by 4. So that's why it is having more steepness. So this is very important point to be remembered. The next thing that we are going to read is y is equal to mx plus c type of the graphs. So here are some graphs which are of this form, but look here, m is 2 by 5, same for all the graphs. So the point to remember is whenever the equations having same gradient, so m is called gradient. So the graphs, the equations having same gradient, the graphs will be parallel to each other. So only the difference is they will be parallel to each other. The only difference will be c's value. So for example, here is the graph of, so m is 2 by 5. So this is the equation y is equal to 2 by 5 x and c is minus 12. So this is minus 12. So because y is equal to mx plus c form, so this is the equation. So gradient will be same, y is equal to 2 by 5 x minus 7. So if you can see, only c is different, that's why it is passing through that value of the y-axis. So look now, minus 7, so that's why it is passing through minus 7 point. Minus 12, that's why it is passing through minus 12 point. So to draw these kind of the graphs, the method will be same. First you will make a table of the values. You will let some values 0, 1, 2, and accordingly putting these values into the equation. For example, this is the graph which is required to be plotted. You will put these values one by one in place of the x, and you will find the respective values of the y. Then you will plot these points on the sheet of the graph paper, and these graphs will be drawn. But the point to be remembered here, that is very important, if the graph is having same gradient, the graphs will be parallel to each other. So this is the point to be remembered. The point to be noticed here, that if the gradient, that is m, is positive, then the graph will rise from left to right. And another point to be noted is, if the gradient is same, the graphs will be parallel to each other. Okay, so you can see another type is here. So you can see now, in all these lines, the gradient is minus 2 by 5 now. So the first point to be noted is, if the gradient is negative, so the graph will rise from right to left. And other point to be noted is, and if the gradient is same, the graphs will be parallel to each other. So the equation of this topmost line will be y is equal to minus 2 by 5x and c is 12, because the equation is passing through the line is passing through the 12 point. So plus 12. The equation of this line will be y is equal to minus 2 by 5x plus 8 and up to so on. So the point to be noted, these are the very important points. So if the gradient is same, the lines will be parallel to each other. Secondly, if the gradient is negative, the graph will rise from right to left. Here is the reverse of the previous question. Now the C is same, but gradient is different. You can see in all the graphs different gradients are here. So the equation of this graph, gradient is minus 1 by 4. For this graph, gradient is minus 1 by 2. For this graph, gradient is 3 by 4 and up to so on. But C is same. That's why all the graphs are passing through minus 1 on the y-axis, because C is actually a point on the y-axis. That's why all the equations, all the graphs are passing through minus 1 point on the y-axis. So for example, if we are required to write the equation of this line, So gradient is given, so y is equal to 1 by 4x and c is -1, so that's why -1 is here. The equation of this graph will be y is equal to 1 by 2x -1, because -1 will be the same for all the graphs. So its equation is y is equal to 3 by 4x -1 and up to so on. So the point to remember and understand is, if c is same, all graphs will be passing through the same point. So this is the point to remember. Okay, the next thing that we are going to read in the topic is solving simultaneous linear equations using graphical method. So look now, here is the question. So you are required to draw the graph of shows the graphs 2x plus 3y is equal to 5 and 3x minus y is equal to 2. So these are the simultaneous equations and you will be required to solve it by graphical method. So look now what you will do. Okay, for the first graph, if you take the values of -2 and 1, so look now, if you put -2 here, it will make -4. Then it will go to the right side, so plus 9 divided by 3, so x will be 3, y will be 3. And when you will put y 1 in place of x, it will make 2 ones are 2, will go to the right side, so 5 minus 2 will be 3. Then 3 will come to the denominator, so y will be equal to 1. So now you will plot these values on the sheet of the graph paper. So look now, -2 3. So here is -2 3, and before it you have taken the scale 1 centimeter to 1 unit on the x-axis and 1 centimeter to 1 unit on the y-axis as well. So the first point is -2 3. So look here, -2 and 3, this is the first point, and the second point is 1 1. So here is 1 1 point. So these 2 points are joined with the help of this scale, and on the top of this line you will write the equation of the line. So 2x plus 3y is equal to 5 is the equation of the line. Okay, likewise on this equation you will take 2 points. So for example, x is equal to 2. Okay, 1 and 2. So when 1 will be put in place of x, so 3 ones are 3, this 2 will come here, so 3 minus 2 will be equal to y, so 3 minus 2 is 1. So this is the first point. When you will put 2 in place of x, so 3 2s are 6, minus 2 will be 4, so y is equal to 4. So now you will plot these points on the sheet of the graph paper. So here is the first point, that is 1 1, and this is the second point, that is 2 4. So look now, here is 2 and here is 4, and with the help of scale you will join these points, and where the two graphs will cut each other, that will be the solution of the simultaneous equation. So the solution is 1 1. Here is another question. Solve the simultaneous equations, and the equations are 2x minus 5y is equal to 32. Second equation is 2x plus 3y is equal to 0 graphically. So this will be clearly instructed to you people graphically or not graphically. So it is given graphically, so it means we have to solve these simultaneous equations on this sheet of the graph paper. So look now, first we will plot some values of the x and y. So when x values are -4 1 and 6, so putting one by one these values into the equation will give us the respective values of the y. So likewise in the second equation, -3 0 and 3 are put, so respective values of y are obtained. So now we will plot these points on the sheet of the graph paper. So look now, here is the graph paper, and now these points have been plotted, and with the scale. These points are joined with the help of scale, and these two lines intersect each other at this point. So this point 6 minus 4 is the solution of the equation. So you may be confused where from these points are coming. So I'm going to tell you another simple thing. So it is not necessary to put these points. So you may put 1, 2, 3 for the x, and accordingly putting these 1, 2, 3 in place of x, you will get the values of y. So plot these points on the sheet of the graph paper, 1, 2, 3, and the respective values of the y will give you the graph. So it is not necessary, because you are too junior to understand from where these points are coming, minus 3, 0, 3, and minus 4, 1, 6. So you simply put 0, 1, 2, or minus or 1, 2, 3. From here again 1, 2, 3. So the same graph will be plotted.